Restoration Druid in patch 10.2.5 is a fairly complex healer that revolves mostly around HOTS or heal over time spells. Don't worry, I'm going to teach it to you in a really easy to follow and straightforward format with no information overload. First up, let's look at the stat priority. Number 1, Intellect. You are going to want to choose this and therefore eye level increases above everything else. Especially as a beginner, please do not listen too much to people saying about what percentage you need on secondary stats and things like that. As a beginner, your priority really should be just learning the core rotation and how to play the class. And eye level is always going to be the biggest increase. If, however, you are looking at items that have the same eye level, then this is the priority you should follow. Because most of our healing spells are going to be focused around healing over time, haste is going to be really, really important. The more haste we have, the quicker those heal over times are going to heal, and therefore more healing done. It's pretty straightforward in that respect. After that, we're going to want Mastery, and lastly, Verse and Crit. Mastery is also a really great stat for us as Restoration Druids. We have a lot of different heal over times, and the more of these healing over time spells we have on one target, the more healing that person will receive. That is quite simply our Mastery. Regarding the talent trees, this one on the left is the Raid one, and the one on the right is the Mythic Plus one. Don't worry too much about all of the individual talents on here. I'm going to go through some of the core ones soon, but like I said before, let's not get overwhelmed. Once you are more used to the specialization, then I would advise looking through your spellbook and talent trees and seeing how all of them work together. But to start with, let's look at the core important ones. And those are, to start with, our cooldowns. At the top then, we've first got Bark Skin. This is going to simply reduce how much damage you take, so it's a personal cooldown, and it's also going to increase how much healing you receive. Second is Renewal. It's going to heal you for 30% of your health. Woohoo! Third, Tranquility. We're only going to use this in raiding. It's a channeled spell, meaning we must stand and actually channel it over a certain amount of time, and it's going to heal a ton of people massively. The end. On the bottom then is where it starts getting really interesting. Again, one that we're only going to be taking in our raid specialization or talent tree is Incarnation Tree of Life. It's going to improve all of our spells that are healing, and more on that when we go through the rotation. It's also going to actually increase our healing done and also our armor massively. And we're going to use this when we need massive, massive healing. Flourish then is going to be a cooldown we're using in something called a ramp. You may have heard this term before, or maybe you haven't, so let's explain it. A ramp is something that some of us healers use, and we're ramping up our healing. And for Restoration Druids, that means throwing out a ton of heal over time effects on our targets, especially in a raid, and then we use Flourish to increase the duration of all those different heal over time effects and how quickly they're actually going to heal. So we ramp up with all these different heal over times, and we go boom and start using our Flourish, and then the massive damage comes in, and we've already healed it all. Fantastic. Because as a Restoration Druid, we are a preemptive healer, not a proactive one. Although it's good to be proactive as well, I will say. Let's have a look now at some of our utilities we've got in our toolbox. Again, starting from the top, we've got Ursul's Vortex. You can place this on the ground. Very useful in Mythic Plus, a lot of these are. And any enemies inside it will be slowed, and when they try and exit the vortex, will be pulled back in. So especially if enemies are clumped up and you want to slow them down, this is fantastic. Then we've got Innovate. You may be told by your raid leader who or when to use this on, or maybe you're going to be selfish and use it on yourself, which is also fine. TLDR, it makes your spells free to cast, and as a healer, mana is really important, and we can quite easily as a Resto Druid go out of mana, so Innovate is invaluable. Then we've got Dash or Tiger's Dash, depending on the talent we've taken. This is going to be a personal speed boost for us, really, really useful. Going on to the next line, Typhoon, you're going to blow back enemies in front of you. So if they're coming towards you or they're in Sanguine, for example, in Mythic Plus, you can push them out of it with a big gust of wind. Entangling Roots, roots them in place. Stampeding Roar is a party-wide dash style buff, and that's it. Let's actually look then at our core spells and the exciting bit, our rotation, starting with raiding, then we're going to look at what changes we're going to make for Mythic Plus, and I'm actually going to show you then how I heal with add-ons, which I can guarantee is going to make your life 20 times easier. So now we're in game. Like I said, I'm going to show you the core abilities, I'm going to show you the UI, and I'm going to show you the raid rotation, and then we're simply going to look at the changes you make to that raid rotation in Mythic Plus, and a cool way that you can heal even easier. Starting off, you'll notice I have this huge weak aura in the middle of my screen. Now, this is a Luxfos one. The import string is down below. If you don't know what this is or you don't understand what I'm talking about, feel free to join my Discord where, may I say, I will welcome every single person that joins because I want to make sure I've got you covered because I really do want to help this community and answer as many of your questions as possible. So if you do have any questions around your UI, add-ons, classes, anything at all in World of Warcraft, I'm here to help, I promise. And Discord is the best way of doing this. If you do want to go another step further, you can press the join button below and join as a member, which supports me, meaning I can put out even more of these videos for you, plus you open up a secret channel in Discord where you can copy my exact UI in one click, like that, and a lot of other benefits. But anyway, this weak aura basically is going to give you a really good visual representation of your abilities and cooldowns and what you have going on. Don't have to use it, it's just an FYI. So let's start looking at our core abilities, and this is this big bar here. First off is Regrowth, starting from the left, and this is a single target heal that is then going to put a small heal over time on the target as well, and it has a cast time. Next up is Rejuvenation. We can use this as many times as we want, and it's instant cast, and this will simply put a heal over time on your target. We have Wild Growth, which has a 10-second cooldown, and is going to heal 5 injured units in the nearby area. And this is going to put a heal over time on as well. Then we have Life Bloom. In our raid talent tree, which we're currently in, you can only use this on one person at a time. It adds a heal over time. Shocker. Who would have thought it? And you'll notice here on the top of our talent tree, it is here. Heals the target over 15 seconds. When it expires or is dispelled, the target is instantly healed, may only be active on one at a time. If we come then down to the bottom of the talent tree, we have a talent called Photosynthesis, and you'll notice that this says, when Life Bloom is on yourself, it will actually heal 20% faster. And that isn't just your healing spells on yourself or your Life Bloom, that is all of your heal over time spells. All of them on everyone. So we always keep this up on ourselves at all times and nobody else when we're in a raid. Then we have our super duper big cooldown, Incarnation Tree of Life. Let's just read the tooltip here because it's quite a big one. We can shapeshift into a Tree of Life on a 3-minute cooldown, increasing healing done, armor, granting protection from polymorph, and then the functionality of our Rejuvenation, Wild Growth, Regrowth, and some of our other spells are enhanced. So, what enhancement are they talking about? Let's circle back over here to Regrowth. Tree of Life makes it instant cast. On Rejuvenation, Tree of Life, healing is increased by 50% and mana cost reduced by 30. And then on our Wild Growth, it'll affect 2 additional targets. So sorry, rather than 6 targets, it will then do 8, as we can see here. This is our big super duper cooldown, and it is fantastic. Looking at the talents for it, there's also Cenarius' Guidance, and this is underneath the talent where we pick the Incarnation Tree of Life. I just want to say that during that, you're going to summon some Grove Guardians every 10 seconds. What are Grove Guardians, you may ask? Well, these are these next ones. There are treants that we can summon. You have these at maximum of 3 charges, meaning always have at least 1 available. They're on a 20-second recharge. They're going to instantly cast Wild Growth, which is our AoE, well, multi-target heal, remember, this is Wild Growth here. So when you summon a Grove Guardian, it's going to instantly cast Wild Growth. And as you can see here on the right side of my screen, it's also going to continually cast Nourish on the target you use that Grove Guardian on. So you target a certain ally and you summon the Grove Guardian to heal that individual person. And that is what is going to be summoned every 10 seconds when we're in our beautiful Tree of Life like this. You can see here at the 10-second mark, another one appears. And that is how these two kind of work together. The next one, which looks like a rosebud or petal, is Efflorescence. This is one we can place, as you can see, and it's going to do AoE healing in that area. I always say put it in melee when you're in a raid, because that's where most people are clumped up, and therefore it's the best place to have it. The next one is a bit more complex, and that is Swift Mend. It's going to consume a Regrowth, Wild Growth, or Rejuvenation to instantly heal an ally. That is these first 3 spells again. And it's then also going to heal the target over 9 seconds. But there's more to this spell than meets the eye. So you can see here, we can't use it because it's got nothing to consume on this target, which is me. If I put a regrowth on myself, you can see it now lights up and we can use it. So I can consume that regrowth on myself to use the Swift Mend. However, there's another talent that's going to impact our next spell we cast after using Swift Mend. That is this one here, Soul of the Forest. Swift Mend increases the healing of your next regrowth or rejuve by 150%, or your next wild growth by 50%. So basically, when we use Swift Mend, once we've used it, so we use we have a regrowth up on someone, we can consume that with a Swift Mend, and then you can see here on the weak aura, this is why this weak aura is useful, we have Soul of the Forest, meaning our next regrowth, for example, which is what we will be using it for in Raid, is going to do even more healing, and that's going to consume that proc. So let's just recap how we are so far, so we don't get overwhelmed. Regrowth, single target heal. Rejuvenation is simply a heal over time. Wild Growth heals multiple people. Life Bloom, keep it up on yourself at all times. You can only use it on one person. Keeping it up on yourself will increase the speed of all your other heals. Incarnation Tree of Life is our super duper cooldown. We've got Grove Guardians, which we can summon to heal other people passively. Efflorescence is our AoE heal we're going to put on melee. And then we've just spoken about Swift Mend. We've then got Nature's Cure. This is going to remove all magic effects on a friendly target. And then we have Nature's Swiftness, causing your next regrowth, rebirth, or entangling roots to be instant, free, and castable in all forms and heal double. So if you want to use regrowth on someone to heal a moderate amount of damage, but you want to do more healing, you can click Nature's Swiftness with a 1-minute cooldown, then use your regrowth and it'll be instant, free, etc. While we're talking about regrowth, there's something else I want to show you. And that is this talent here, Omen of Clarity. You're healing over time from Life Bloom, which is this spell, remember, we're putting on ourself and only ourself. The healing over time from that spell is going to have a 5% chance to cause a clear casting state, making our next regrowth cost no mana. You can see here it has procced because I have this clear casting icon on my weak aura, or a buff wherever you have your buffs, for example mine is here, and then you can see that the regrowth has this little icon swirling around it. When we then use that free regrowth, it's actually going to do something else as well, okay? And that is our 4-set bonus on this season. Consuming clear casting, which is what I've just shown you, now causes your regrowth to also cast Nourish onto a nearby injured ally. And if you're wondering what Nourish is, well, when we cast out our Treants, can you see it's casting Nourish? It's that spell. So basically, Life Bloom, when it's ticking along, healing you, it has a chance to make your next regrowth free, okay? When we use that free regrowth, it's actually also going to cast a Nourish for free on our allies as well, meaning it's even more valuable. And while we're on the subject of set bonuses, I just want to show you what number 2 does, the 2-set bonus. It's passive, so you don't really need to worry, but while we're here, you and your Grove Guardians Nourishes now heal 2 additional allies. Woohoo. That's it. So it's passive, you don't need to worry about it. And that is all of the core spells that we're going to be using in raiding as a Restoration Druid. So let's see how it all comes together and how we're actually going to use these in a raid and our rotation or priority order. So when we're actually in a raid then, what we're going to be doing is keeping up our Efflorescence at all times in the melee. Keep Life Bloom up on yourself for that extra healing speed. We're going to use up any clear casting of free regrowths like we have here, making sure that's making use of our free Nourish, etc. from our set bonus. And we've got another one, so we're going to use that. So just use it when it comes up. When we use our Swift Mend, you're going to actually notice that every 3rd time we use it, we're going to go into Tree of Life. That is also a talent here called Reforestation. Every 3rd cast of Swift Mend grants you Incarnation Tree of Life for 10 seconds. And when there's large amounts of raid damage coming, and you may have your Tree of Life on cooldown, you can use this, or after you've ramped. More on ramping in a second. Okay? So we're then going to, when we do use our Swift Mend, we're then going to use our Wild Growth after, always in raid. Okay? That's what we're going to do with our Swift Mend proc from our Soul of the Forest talent. With our Grove Guardians, you're pretty much going to use these as much as you really want. I would always say, always have at least a minimum of 1 up so that it's always recharging and you're not wasting any, but you can use these as freely as you would like. If we know that huge amounts of raid-wide damage are incoming, we can then start our ramp, which is generally going to be getting out as many rejuvenations as possible on people. And then when the damage is about to come, etc., we could use a Swift Mend and then our regrowth. wild growth, maybe put some Grove Guardians out, and then we're going to use our Flourish to extend these healing over time effects and also increase the rate of that healing from them when that huge raid damage is coming in. So basically, the way our ramp works is we're getting all these healing over time spells out on people before the damage comes in, and then we use our Flourish so that when the huge raid-wide damage hits, we've already got all of our healing covered. And that is how a Druid ramp works, and that is why Druids are so amazing in raids. You can also use your Tranquility, number 4 on my action bar down here. You can also use this when there's large raid-wide damage coming in. Your raid lead may tell you when to use this, and this is a really good raid-wide spell to use as well. You may need to use it with your ramp. At other times, it's really going to depend. And the same goes with your Incarnation Tree of Life. If you can, try and save your third Swiftmend for when a ramp is coming so that you can get that Incarnation Tree of Life for 10 seconds included in your ramp, and that can be really good. But as a beginner, don't worry too much about trying to min-max these kind of things. Just get the core rotation going to start with. And don't forget our Mastery, which I mentioned earlier in the video, is actually going to mean that the more heal over times we have on someone, the more healing we do, which is fantastic. There's just one other spell I want to really quickly highlight, which I haven't mentioned, and that's Ironbark here. The target's skin becomes tough as ironwood, reducing damage taken by 20% for 12 seconds. It's a 1.5 minute cooldown, and you can use it on someone that needs or is going to need a lot of healing or is going to be taking a lot of damage soon. Now that we've looked at that, I'm going to go over the changes that are actually going to happen when we move into our Mythic Plus specialization, which is this here in front of us. So we're going to lose a few spells and gain a few spells. We're going to lose Tranquility. We're going to lose Incarnation Tree of Life and swap it for Convoke the Spirits. We're going to gain Cenarian Ward up here, and we're going to gain Adaptive Swarm. So let's start from the top on the things we've gained. Cenarian Ward is a 30-second cooldown shield that you can place on someone. I generally like to use it on the tank, but you can use it on whoever you like, and it's on a 30-second cooldown, and you can use it on cooldown. Then we have our Convoke the Spirits. I'm just going to show you what this does because it's one of my favourite spells. It's going to cast a load of healing spells all at once, just like this. It's on a 1 minute cooldown. You can use it as much as you like. More advanced users will actually use this in cat form for cat weaving, so that you go into a cat form and do loads of DPS spells using it. I mean, you can get more DPS out, but as a beginner, don't worry about that and just use it for healing, as here on cooldown pretty much. And then lastly is our Adaptive Swarm. Basically, you put this onto someone and it's going to heal them and increase the effectiveness of periodic effects on them by 20%. And then when it expires, it's then going to jump onto somebody else or an enemy. I have got a weak aura, and it's pinned in my Discord, that tells you who to put this on and takes all the brain work out of it to make sure it's most efficient, because it's a 25-second cooldown. You put it onto someone and it bounces around different people and enemies, but you can then put more out when the cooldown ends. So you end up having loads of them refreshing and jumping around, and it's amazing. But you do need a bit more help with that, I think, like a weak aura. But you can pretty much use this on cooldown as well. One other major change in Mythic Plus is this one here, Undergrowth Talent. Your Life Bloom may be on 2 targets at once, and its healing is reduced by 10%. So, TLDR, still use it on yourself because we are still taking photosynthesis, but you can then also put it on someone else, maybe the tank or someone that just needs a lot of healing. It's, as long as you've still got it on yourself, it's still going to be fantastic. And you can use it on 2 people at a time. Woohoo! So those are the main differences in Mythic Plus that you're going to be doing. And now I want to show you how we can heal much easier. I've realised in a lot of my healing guides before I haven't shown anyone this. And a lot of people are actually healing in ways that are a lot harder than they need to be. So I'm going to show you really quickly an add-on called Voodoo. It's actually spelled V-U-H-D-O. And it's on my mini-map here. I can click and it's going to open up this scary looking menu. Don't worry too much, just follow what I'm going to show you here. Go to the Spells tab, and you can see here it says Mouse Key, and Mouse Wheel, and Modifier Key. So Mouse Key says left button is Regrowth, right is Wild Growth, and middle is Rejuvenation. See this little icon over here? Looks like a raid frame? Well, it is, and that's from Voodoo. So basically, when I left click, it's going to cast Regrowth, and you can see the little Regrowth icon. When I middle click, it's going to do Rejuvenation, and things like that. And then that's what you're putting in here. You're saying, when I left click, cast Regrowth on the target I hover over on my Voodoo raid frame. What you can do... Oh, see, I've just deleted it out, and now nothing happens when I left click. So, oh my goodness, where's my spellbook? If we go into our spellbook, what I can actually do, you can either type out regrowth, and that'll work. Or to be really lazy, you can, if I can find my regrowth, you can drag it from your spellbook into here like this. And that's it. And now you can see I can left click and cast regrowth. If I click control, it's saying, what will I click when I have control held down? So left click is adaptive swarm. So if I hold control down on my keyboard and left click, it will put adaptive swarm on. Control middle click will summon a Grove Guardian, etc., etc. Same with shift and alt. And you can do alt and control and things like that. There's also the mouse wheel for scroll up and scroll down. This add-on is fantastic. And quite honestly, you only need to use it to this extent as a beginner. You can get really, really in-depth with this. Again, if you need help setting this up, or you want to use it, or if you want to use Clique or any other healing add-on, do join my Discord and I will help you. Again, members of my YouTube can actually copy straight into game my whole import string for these add-ons. So I really hope I was able to explain how to play Restoration Druid as a beginner in patch 10.2.5 in an easy way that you can understand. Do let me know your thoughts below in the comments. And as I said, feel free to join my Discord. I really do mean it when I say I will help you with absolutely anything. And please also do consider becoming a member if you would like to support the channel. And on that note, thank you also to my new members, Medivh and Bama Built. I really appreciate you guys. Thanks again. And don't forget to subscribe.